Today's episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Full Sail University.
Welcome to FilmRiot Mondays, where you ask questions and I answer them, because that's what kind of relationship we have. And if you want to see UFO Yeah on the big screen, you can do that, actually, for Sci-Fi Saturdays during the Mile High Horror Film Festival, which is on October 3rd in Colorado at an Alamo Draft House. You can get all the details on that and the festival right here, which the festival runs from October 1st through the 4th. So definitely check out their site to get all that info. But now, let's get to some questions. First question, what are the top 3 things not to do while directing a low-budget film? Like most honest answers, for me, it does depend, but I think my top 3 would be 1, don't be a douchebag on set. That goes across the board, professional or otherwise. Be a good person, be kind, be appreciative to your cast and crew. Say thank you, say please. Let them know that you appreciate them gifting you with their time. Because if you're low, no budget, that's often what's going on. They're either a really reduced rate or they're just gifting you with their time, not getting paid. So make sure you're being a good person on set. 2 is pay attention to your cast. Once you call cut, communicate with them, let them know how they did, give them feedback, give them precise direction, and collaborate with them. Remember, it is a vulnerable position, especially when you're low budget and you're talking about more amateur actors that aren't as used to being in front of the camera. They can be very insecure, so make sure you're dealing with them. And 3, don't go above your means. If you can't pull off a helicopter exploding, maybe don't add that in. If you know it's something that you're not gonna be able to pull off well, and you add that to your story, it's just gonna lessen it and pull your audience out of that. So try to write around what you can do. I think that would be my top 3. How much film could a FilmRiot film if a FilmRiot could write film? I don't know why, but this is the most liked question every time we ask for questions, and although we did answer before, I feel like we have to answer it since every time we post for questions, this is the most liked one. And I mean, it's pretty obvious that a FilmRiot could write as much film as a FilmRiot could if a FilmRiot could write film. So it's kind of a stupid question. If you could change one thing about the film industry, what would it be? I almost feel like it's egotistical for me to even answer that question. I am outside of the industry doing my own thing very independently. I have not made a feature film yet, so I can't really say that with any kind of educated backing, but from very little, from what I've seen, what I would want to change with anything, really. The selfishness and greed that goes along with business in general. Add more passion, a little bit more integrity, and just people looking out for each other. Surprisingly, it is out there a lot more than I thought it was, but you know, it's still, but it's anywhere where there's business of any kind, that's what you find. So it's not just the film industry, it's just business as a whole. That's what I would change. Ryan, some tips to film a found footage film. My number 1 piece of advice with found footage is if you're going to do it found footage style, make absolutely sure that that is the only way to tell this story. That is the most obvious. Of course, it has to be found footage way to tell a story. That it's not just jumping on board with a gimmick, because I feel like that gimmick is fading out a little bit. There are times where I'm still interested in it, but it's because they're concepts where it's clearly the best way to tell this story is through that medium. And that goes across the board with what you do with your camera. Is it handheld or not? Is it, you know, is it locked off? Is there a lot of movement? Is there very little movement? What you're doing with the lighting, the decisions you make there should all be in service of what is the best way to tell my story. Because if it's not, if you're just jumping on board with a gimmick, it's not going to service your project very well. In your opinion, how important are editors in the filmmaking process? Editors are unbelievably, incredibly, intensely, I cannot emphasize enough, important in the filmmaking process. I mean, everybody in the filmmaking process is incredibly important, down to craft services who get ignored way too much, and they are incredibly valuable to the process, and usually wonderful people, along with the makeup department. I've noticed those 2 departments are usually departments I get along with most. They're very nice people. That has nothing to do with what you're asking. They're incredibly important. I've said it before, and of course I stole this quote. You write the film 3 times. When you're writing the film, then when you're directing the film, that's your rewrite, and then your final draft of your story is in editing. They have so much power and control over the final intention and emotion of your film. Every scene they can craft however they want and switch around what the original meaning was, including music as well does the same thing. But even in actors' performances, they really can craft that in. I've even fixed bad acting in the past through editing. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done the exact same thing, and I've seen bad editing make great acting look not so great. So I think actors don't thank editors enough in their acceptance speeches, because that really is a part of helping craft that performance. If they hold on a moment too long, it makes the actor seem like they didn't and have the correct pacing, or pick bad takes where they're still finding the moment, things like that. So editing is extremely important and very, very powerful. As a director, is it more difficult to work with actors if you don't have experience acting yourself, or is it really not that big of an issue? Thanks. I honestly don't know, because I had acting experience before I had directing experience, so I already knew what it was like to be in front of everybody and putting yourself out there like that. In my opinion, from my experience, I think it would definitely be beneficial to understand what that feels like. Even just take an acting class. You don't even have to do the whole thing. Just do it a few times so you know what it feels like to be up there, to try to convey an emotion, what that feels like, how difficult it is, so you can really respect the actors and what they're doing, their craft, and help them dial it in to understand when somebody else is giving you direction, when you're behind or in front of the camera and someone else is the one watching your performance and then giving you feedback. Knowing what that feels like and knowing what you do and don't like with that interaction has been extremely beneficial for me. So my advice would be definitely take an acting class, be in front of the camera, something to get that experience. Last question, is the film industry as competitive as it seems? I'm interested in being a part of it and I want to know how competitive it really is. Like I was saying before, we're not fully in the Hollywood system. I mean, we're very independent. We're in Texas. I do have a toe dipped into that system now. I have a lot of friends out there. We've had a lot of interactions. We've been in talks with certain things. So I do know a little bit, but not so much so that I would tell you without a shadow of a doubt, here's how it is. And we'll always be very transparent with you like this and be very honest with our answers. I've seen people online act like they're in the Hollywood system and they're definitely not. And I don't really think that's helpful. So we'll always be very honest with you guys like that. So, you know, I can't tell you for sure, but I mean, you could read any article and see how very competitive it is. It's very difficult to break into the film industry. That's very well known, but you shouldn't really think of it in those terms. I mean, things are different now with online video. You should be thinking more in terms of how passionate are you about this thing. For me, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I couldn't imagine not pursuing this. Even if I don't make a film my entire life, I will be happy with the pursuit of making a film and doing short films and doing FilmRiot and things like that. I can't see myself continuing not pursuing this thing because I just love it that much. That's why I've always said, if you don't love it so much that you would rather live under a bridge than not do the thing, do this as a hobby and find something else. I really mean that, because it is that difficult to get anywhere in this industry, depending on what you want to do. If you're trying to make your own films, is mostly what I'm talking about. So don't look at it so much as it's competitive or not. Look at how passionate you are about the thing. And thanks to online video, you can get your work out there. And if it's good, people are going to see it, and sooner or later, you're going to get calls. So just consider how passionate you are. Can you live without doing it or not? And then make your decision off that. If you dream of becoming a filmmaker, Full Sail University has degree programs to help you achieve your goal, including the on-campus film bachelor degree. Throughout the film's bachelor degree program, you'll learn the filmmaking process from start to finish on a campus that houses the technology and resources you need. In the online digital cinematography bachelor's program, you learn what it takes to write, shoot, and edit your own films, and online students receive a technology package that includes a professional level digital video camera. Full Sail is also excited to announce the new film production's master degree program designed to give you advanced education in the behind-the-scenes aspect of filmmaking. I went to Full Sail myself, and other grads have worked on films like The Hunger Games, Gravity, and many more. Full Sail University also offers a variety of campus and online degrees in fields related to the entertainment and media industry. Visit fullsail.edu/FilmRiot to learn more. So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one is called Light, and it was actually a My Road Reel entry, which I really, really dug. I love the style of it. I love how the story was told. So definitely check that out right here. And I'll see you guys next week. Until then, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.